All right, ladies and gentlemen, so now we are doing step 2, and step 2 is your torso. Now, the reason why we do these steps in this order is because to make it easier on you. If we don't fix the height first, and you go to fix everything else, and you get to the last step, and you realize there's not enough room on your paper, that's kind of a bad thing. That leaves you in a bad place, and you have to go back and fix everything. I don't want you to have to go back and fix everything every time. So you're only going to fix each step at a time. You will notice during step 1, I did not erase anything other than the heads. So step 1 was only head. Step 2 is only torso. We do the torso second because your arms and your legs attach to your torso. So if you're not doing your torso or your body part of your body first, and your body isn't the right size, you're putting the arms and legs in the wrong spots. So then you're going to have to do it again. The whole point of this is to make it as simple as possible and so that you're not redoing steps. So, once again, for any of these, do the view that is easier first. So for torso, the view that is easier for me is the front view because I'm seeing the whole torso kind of laid out. Now, I am actually going to turn my paper over to make it a little easier for you to understand because I want you to work from head down. So what this means is that the first measurement for your torso is going to be your shoulders. Now, for the most part, your neck is not really that big. So if you just put your torso right underneath your neck, or right underneath your head, that's probably going to be okay when it comes to neck length. Because your neck is not even a half a head long, for the most part. Now, what you need to do is this line that I just drew very sketchily needs to be the right length. So I need to go back to my head measurements, and I need to look at my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 2 heads long. So that means I can take that head ruler again, or I can take my fingers, either way. And I can, now for your shoulders, the thing is that you want your head centered on your shoulders. Your head isn't to one side or the other of your shoulders. So you want to draw a center line down the center of your head, and just draw this line kind of lightly down your torso. Then, because my shoulders are 2 heads wide, it makes it a little easy. It is 1 head on each side. So I've got 1 head here, and I've got 1 head here. Now my arms are not in the right place, because my arms are inside my shoulders, and my arms should be outside my shoulders. Am I fixing them now? No. I am just fixing my torso for this step. Save myself the time and energy. Don't worry about fixing them till I'm ready to fix them. So, that is the first part, shoulders. So you do to start your torso, you do your shoulders first. Then you do down, your length. Okay. So now mine is 2.5. I have a long torso. So I've got 1, 2.5. Mine is actually pretty close. So now I'm going to draw a line here, but this line I'm not going to measure yet, because then we have to decide whether your sculpture is going to be male or female. Now, when it comes to torso shapes, it's one of the only things that changes between male and female human beings. When we're talking about torsos, the top part is generally the same. The length is generally the same. What happens different is your waistline and what happens between your waist and your hips. So I just drew my shoulders. I just drew my hips. Now, you're going to go half a head up for your waist. So half a head up, which is right here, is my waistline. Now, the thing that happens to human beings, and you can see this in the mannequins too, is that our mannequins, they're kind of generic human. They go in at the waist and then out to the shoulders. Now, the difference between male and female. Males kind of come straight down from the shoulders to your waist and then straight to your hips. So this is more of a male shape. So it's kind of a triangle. If I look at it overall, it's a triangle. A female, on the other hand, comes in at the waist just like the male does, just a little bit, and then comes out. Kind of has that hourglass look because our hips are a little bit wider. So, you need to choose whether your sculpture is going to be male or female. It is entirely up to you. You do not need to do one of your own gender. That is fine. Pick whichever one kind of fits your message best. I like drawing female, so I'm going to draw female. So, when I go to measure my waist, the waist measurement that or the hip measurement that I did, no, wait. When we measured our torsos, we measured our waists. So that means on this waistline is where my measurement needs to go. And mine was 1.5. So half of 1.5 is 3/4. So I'm going to do 3/4 of a head on this side and 3/4 of a head on this side. I'm going to put a nice little one there so I remember for next time. So there is my waist. So from my shoulders, go down to my waist, and it kind of makes this kind of box. Now eventually, as you're making this look a little bit more human, you can round out that box a little bit, but don't worry about it. It can be kind of a triangle. Now, because I'm doing a female, I'm not more than half a head, but I'm going to just curve it out just a little bit. If I was doing a male, it would come straight down. Okay, but I'm doing a female, so I'm going to leave it as a female. So now that I have fixed this torso, now I'm going to turn over to this one. Now, a side view is a little bit different. You might need to go back and get some measurements, because the measurements we generally got were not really a side view. When it comes to the side view, for the most part, you're generally not too wide. So you're no more than 3/4 of a head wide, probably at your shoulders. Once again, you need to measure the shoulders. We don't have to measure the length because we don't see it. So it's length, male, female, waist, hips. So those are our steps. Shoulders, I made sure I was wide enough. Length still needs to be 2.5. So 1, 2, and a half. 1, 2, and a half. So there's the bottom. Now it might come in a little bit at the waist and come out a little bit. Our backs are typically straighter. So our front might curve a little bit more. If you want to make your female a little bit curvy, you want it to be kind of not quite, a little above midpoint of the chest. And then the back stays pretty straight unless for some reason your back is bent. Like you are bending at the back. This person's pretty straight. It gets a little wider as it comes to the hips. So I've done my shoulders, I did my length, I did my waist. So my waist is there. Oop, I think I did my waist in the wrong spot. Yeah, I did. So you want to make sure your waist is in the right spot. So since my waist is kind of isn't going in quite where it should be. And I am not quite that skinny, so I'm going to make mine go a little bit further out like that. So it's a little bit more accurate to my shape. Okay, so see how I darken the torso on both views? This is step 2. So go get this step checked by Miss Jesser.